All right, we have plenty to get to here. One thing that I'm going to talk about just right off the bat is I'm not going to be touching too much on the Tua injury. I'm not really going to talk about it at all. I already had a video giving my immediate thoughts on not just the injury, but the situation surrounding it. You can check that out on this channel if you're interested in hearing my thoughts on that. But this will be about the game itself. It was an exciting game. We thought it would be an exciting game heading in. Definitely there's a black cloud kind of hanging over it a little bit because of that whole Tua situation, but a very interesting game. I'm going to talk about it all. We're going to talk about what the Dolphins offense was able to do well. I actually think that the Dolphins were able to win. I talked about this in the video, but I think that they were able to win a higher percentage of the plays than even the Bengals were. But I think that the Bengals were able to get the splash plays. And I'm going to talk about kind of schematically why those splash plays were able to develop. So, let's, instead of talking about what I'm going to talk about, let's just talk about it. So let's start off with this. One thing is I did think that for the most part, guys were getting open for Miami. They were getting guys kind of to get into gaps in coverage. Even though the score wasn't overly high, I thought both offenses were playing well. And this is a good example. It doesn't really matter if it was Tua or Teddy in there. They were both doing a good job. First with Tua. It's going to be a zone coverage play. You see that, Tyreek Hill is going to be the real route to look towards here, trying to get into a gap in coverage. Right when this play begins, Tua runs the play action. He looks over the middle. There is a gap in between two linebackers. Tua fires it. Tua is able to make this throw. Hill makes the catch. They pick up a big chunk play there. This is the kind of stuff that I felt like Miami was doing a good job of against Cincinnati, who was playing this zone coverage. They were really being able to, at times, move the ball with ease. At other times, not so much, but at times, definitely move the ball with ease. Like this one's another one, again, now with Teddy in here, which, again, it's a scheme that doesn't rely as much on quarterbacks being awesome, and that's kind of, why, especially when you have a good backup quarterback, you can still be okay. But the way this play works is it is going to be a play action. You, again, have a receiver running over the middle so you can get guys out of position with the play action and then find a gap in coverage to throw through. Look, as you see, Teddy takes a snap, he runs the play action, and he has a player down the field where he can make this throw if you want to. You can see the gap, and one thing that's definitely helping is the linebacker for Cincinnati, number 57. He has his hips turned towards the top of the screen, which definitely makes this easier. And so Bridgewater is able to make this throw, and they're able to, again, pick up a decent chunk play by just finding the gap in coverage and, having your quarterback run an offense. It's the benefit of having so many good receivers, a great scheme, and, again, still good quarterback play, whether it's Bridgewater or Tua. They're both solid quarterbacks. Of course, this deep shot would certainly help things out a little bit as well to set the stage. Dolphins currently trailing by 2 points. Here with about 5 minutes left in the third quarter, you're going to see Teddy Bridgewater take the snap, and I don't know exactly what happens here because we don't get to see it, but I don't know where the safety goes, but it ends up being just a one-on-one matchup down the field, and it feels like Miami does something that is a smart strategy because we've seen it now with Teddy and with Tua, which makes me wonder if this is the Mike McDaniel strategy of, hey, if you see Tyreek Hill one-on-one, throw the ball to Tyreek Hill. That's just kind of the mindset. We saw, I think it's worth bringing up just because it is a part of the story. I actually originally was going to, break down the Tua underthrow to Tyreek Hill early on, but I figured given the Tua injury, let's not show that play. But, Tua did have an underthrow to Tyreek Hill. Bridgewater is not going to have an underthrow to Tyreek Hill here. Okay, he kind of is. Look, it's a little bit underthrown, but a great catch from Tyreek Hill. And, very far down the field, Bridgewater was throwing that ball. I mean, he was, throwing the ball from around his own 20. He got it to, inside his opponent's 20. So very good deep throw from Bridgewater, who's not someone who's known for having a cannon for an arm. So that was very good from him. Meanwhile, for the Bengals, they kind of definitely were a get big plays type of offense in this one. I thought they definitely were a team that was just trying to make stuff happen, and this is a good example, kind of an interesting example. So it's 3rd down and 11, and one of the things that I've talked about a decent amount is, the Bengals do have to every now and then do a bit of the bailing out the running game that can't really get much going, not from Joe Mixon's fault. Usually it's the offensive line's fault, but Zach Taylor loves the running game, despite the fact that, not being so successful, but it's okay because even if it puts you in a hole, someone like Joe Burrow can help bail you out, and this time it's going to be Burrow and Higgins. It's a really interesting play to break down, actually. It's a cover 2 man, but the safeties are very far over. I mean, the safety that's currently closer to the top of the screen is right in the middle of the field. So these are safeties very much going towards the right side of the screen. I'm assuming it's just the Ja'Marr Chase factor is taking away extra attention, but you saw this a bit in this game. You can't just take away Ja'Marr Chase. If you're trying to just focus on him, there still is T. Higgins, one of the most underrated receivers in football. And even though there's 2 safeties deep, it's basically going to turn into a, almost like a cover 0 for Higgins. I mean, watch how Higgins, there's just no safety help over him. Burrow doesn't even hesitate. He makes that throw, and look at how open T. Higgins is getting right here. T. Higgins is, a great receiver. It makes some sense. And you might be wondering, okay, well, who's that scrub corner that T. Higgins is destroying right here? That scrub corner, Xavier Howard. Fantastic corner for the Miami Dolphins, but this is just, T. Higgins. He's very good. As you see, he makes the grab, and he is able to, pick up a big chunk play. And again, a lot of their big chunk plays came to T. Higgins. That's how he was able to have so many yards, but also, it was kind of due to the attention that Ja'Marr Chase was getting. This is always one of those, just because, you can't just look at the box score sometimes. A lot of the, why T. Higgins was so successful was because they were paying too much attention to Chase. They should have still paid that much attention to Chase, but you also got to take some resources over to, cover Higgins as well. Part of why the Bengals are so difficult to defend against and why they went to a Super Bowl last year. But now let's go over to the interception, which, this is kind of one of those things about, if you are someone who, if you have a philosophy of let's try to run a methodical offense, it can be successful. And I thought that if you look at who won a higher percentage of their plays, it's probably Miami. But the issue is if you're not getting these chunk plays, you're not getting as many chunk plays, well, then mistakes can happen. And this is a good example of just really a mistake happening. Again, Bridgewater's going to take the snap. He's going to find Gesicki. He likes trying to hit him here. He feels like this play can work out. And this just feels like a complete miscommunication. Bridgewater has already thrown the football, and Gesicki hasn't even looked towards the football. Because of that, I mean, it just, it puts you in a tough spot. And in the biggest of spots, when you have a great chance to go and get a touchdown to take the lead, this happens. The throw is behind, but also, hey, good awareness, right? It's one thing for a miscommunication to happen, but you still have to catch the football. So that obviously is definitely something that helps. So yes, you do have to put blame on the Miami Dolphins for the miscommunication and kind of chalk some of it up to luck for it to happening exactly in this way to put it in position where it can be an interception. Of course, that is absolutely true. But give credit to Von Bell for being able to actually, make the catch that was thrown in his direction, his second interception of the day. So while I thought that Miami did defend well, I thought that the Bengals were able to also, make plays when they had to. The Bengals maybe didn't win as high percentage of the plays as the Dolphins did, but what they did do was they were able to get the bigger swings. They were able to get the multiple turnovers. They were able to get the big Ja'Marr Chase play, the big, T. Higgins plays, and that's how they were able to win this football game. At least that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.